Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Recap. It is Wednesday, and I got an important question for you. Do you like hats? I bet you do. Anyway, what's going on, chat? We got JM1620 in the house. More beer, less work. What is going on, guys? And I know everybody else is kind of like piling in right now, so the chat's going to blow up here momentarily. I apologize that I was not with you guys this last week, but I know Tefuri and Austin did an absolutely amazing job, especially having Wilder and Davey on Panda on, because Wild Panda was last week. So there we go. There's everybody. Croats 10, Space Hippie, VT Kevin R. What's going on, guys? Mick06 Haha. That's a name I haven't seen before. So good to see you. But of course, our returning co-host, who is punctual, who is present, who has been here more shows this year than I have, Mr. Tefuri Taylor. What is up?
What's going on, chat? What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? It's been a week, but I feel like I haven't seen y'all in forever.
I know. How was last week?
Man, last week was crazy. I mean, like between all the heat we had dropping, I was like saturated with hats. I mean, it was crazy. Obviously, if y'all watched Fits on Fridays, y'all saw I was in New York.
How did that go? How was the trip and everything like that?
Man, so the caption for that trip, 12 hours in New York, was definitely not a joke. I literally spent 12 hours in New York, but all from my good boy John. Had to go ahead and cop both. So I did get the Lost Boy, Lost Boy, excuse me, and also have the Lou right now that I'm wearing. So you will see me brim switch throughout the live. But left here at like 5 a.m. To get into New York by 9:30. I flew into JFK. Hit the NoHo store. Shouts out to Q. Shouts out to everybody that was working there at the NoHo store. It was a wild thing, man. Like just seeing everybody pull up, and I wasn't the only ATL person in there. Shouts out to Reflections ATL on Instagram. He was also out there. Yeah, so it was like 2 Atlanta people out there, and it was really great to see the community come out. We took pictures. John's Pirates sold out in the first hour.
Not surprised.
And then, and pretty much before the close of business, he sold out the rest of his hats. So he had sold out dates for both of his hats. First hat drop with Hat Club. I mean, couldn't be more proud of him and excited to see what other cool, crazy stuff he has in the works. And trust me, this summer's gonna go crazy.
I'm not surprised by that at all. John's always got a good head on his shoulders, and especially from the creativity department, he's always top notch.
Yeah, it's like so. It was a great event. It was a great time. I'm super excited. I love hats. That's why I'm here. So excited for this week's episode of Recap, man.
Dude, and speaking of amazing drops that also occurred on Saturday, I saw somebody in the comments mention it. The 316 at 316 Arizona Diamondbacks hat, like pretty much every store got that, and they all dropped it in store at 316 on 316 as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys were able to scoop it up. We did not have everything exclusively for the website. Every store pretty much got those. At least I know the Arizona stores, New York, and LA did. I think Great Mall and Roosevelt Field might have been the only two stores that did not. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Q definitely. He showed the shock drop on the NoHo story, and I was just like, "What?" I was like, but I had to act surprised. But it was definitely cool to see everybody, going crazy for that hat. I mean, it was a great crown. Like I said, I was gonna have to pray for our wallets on Saturday because it was just insane. But I mean, yeah, between that, then you had Wild Panda dropping last weekend. Shouts out to Davey and Wilder on that, like sold out dates on that too. So Hat Club had a jam-packed weekend, and we're not even talking about all the variety that dropped.
Oh yeah. And I will say, I was planning on joining you guys for like a couple minutes, like on the live while I was at the Pac-12 tournament, but unfortunately it was during a game, and there was like no way we probably would have been able to hear each other because it was actually in the middle of the Cal Stanford game. To
Sheesh.
which case, Stanford didn't win me $35 on that only because I hedged my bet because Cal managed to blow an 18-point lead with 11 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, that was just one of those ones where I just was like, I I was like, I was hopeful, but then when I thought about it, I was like, you're in a stadium, thousands of screaming people. I'm sure like that would have overdrove the audio immediately.
Yeah,
So
not to mention everybody was tapped into the, illustrious T-Mobile, Wi-Fi signal there, so
yeah, and for sure. So and yeah, speaking of John, he's in here. So shouts out to my guy John.
woo!
Great work.
There he is.
Yeah, only so Laurent said only thing with the Stone Cold is that the OG is China, but the restock is Laos. The pictures that Lotus show China in the tag, just something to point out. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I did notice that as well. I think I knew that because AB had showed me his. But I mean, I'm gonna say this, and I feel like Laos hats are actually I'm becoming a real good fan of those. They just shape and they fit really well on head. They're very comfortable.
nice.
Um, but I mean, so if we're gonna see more Laos hats in the future, I'm not mad at that. I'm not
No,
mad at that reality.
I've tried a few on. I have no complaints. I haven't noticed anything as far as, like, shape or fit or anything like that that differs from
Mhm.
anything that I typically wear. So and that's not me just, saying stuff to sell hats. That's just me being truthful.
Sorry, Big Red. He showed me the tag in the inside of his hat. I should have paused that, but gotta be careful. You never know who's lurking lurking in the comments. So yeah, I meant the tag chat, not anything else. That's a little bit weird. But we're here. Recap. Want to show these site sleepers off real
Yeah,
quick?
I'm gonna address everybody's comments about Otani's translator getting fired today by the Dodgers.
Yeah. Oh,
What the fuck?
yeah, like yeah, I was like when I saw like multiple wire transfers of 500K, I was just like, yeah, that's got to be crazy just to be like, oh, how much do you want to transfer today? I don't know,
Half a
$500,000.
million bucks, why not? I wish it would have broken yesterday so I could have talked about it on Benchwarmers, so now I'm gonna have to, like, go into more detail about that next week, so we'll postpone
Mhm.
that till next week, guys. But,
Yeah.
anyway, what site sleepers you got for this week, Tef?
So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with chat so
Do it.
everybody can see what we got going on. So I'm gonna go here. So we're gonna roll up. I mean, like I said, we had a lot of things drop between last week and this week. We had NCAA pack, March Madness, the Elite Eight pack specifically drop.
Oh, one thing I
Um,
wanna point out in regard to the Ohio State hat, because a lot of people did talk about it on Twitter.
yeah.
When we put the order in, it was definitely 2007 Final Four because that was Papa Odin and that great
Mhm.
Ohio State team, but
Yep.
unfortunately, it came with the, 2003, so
Yeah. I know a lot of people are asking why UNC and Duke weren't included. And I just said, hey, listen, like I think that we treat this a little bit like the stained glass collection, right? You guys sell these out. I mean, I wouldn't see a reason why we don't have another one, maybe when a tournament winner is crowned. You never know.
yeah, I mean, there's also the possibility that, it wouldn't like,
Oh, let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, Chad. I was surprised that
doubt they left them out on purpose and of, like, they just either didn't get the order
Mhm.
in time or they got denied or, something like that. It happens.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I was like, so I think we'll start here. Clearly, if old school, crossover hat, pink UV, D-backs traditional front logo with the copper threading on the inside. Very beautiful hat. As you can see, there's only 6 7/8. 7 3/4 is the largest that's left. Very good crown. If you have this in the collection, kudos to you. If you don't, and you're any of these sizes right here, highly recommend that you add that to the collection. Very, very
I will
good.
say this as well. New
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Year
See
yet.
here.
I think it's happening this weekend, and I think the Arizona another chance at it.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think Chief and I think Jonas talked about this and showed this on the live.
Yep,
So another great crown. I think that actually just loaded up today. We talked about this crown last week. I showed it in hand. This was
there it
the
is.
alternate Olympic logo. We have the actual Olympic colors from the 96 Olympics in the side patch for the
Oh,
96
yeah.
World Series. White Gouda, gray UV, gray crown. I think this is made in Laos. So speaking of Laos, here we
Yep.
are. All metallic gold threading against that tonal green color. And a close up on the side patch. This is a very good hat. A couple people on the LA Live were asking, when this was going to be dropping. It's live now, guys, and it's a full size run. So if you didn't get a chance to get the hat, if you didn't get a chance to come to Hatlanta, I feel like this is another good crown to have, even if you don't have the Atlanta one with the stars coming out. Shouts out to Freddie on that. Very, very, very good crown. Very well executed. Um, Another one, I'm gonna show some love to Oaktown. I'm gonna show some love to Oakland real quick.
Heyo.
Yeah, this is a very, very solid everyday black tonal crown. You have the copper, all copper side patch with the black accents. I like that a lot, actually. I think that that's a really nice way to tie in the color of the hat into the side patch. All metallic, A's logo on the front. This is definitely a attention grabber. I think, let's see here, no tag picture on this one, but if I had to guess by the shape, I'm going to assume that it was made in China.
I think it
Um,
is.
yeah, it's like if I'm gonna be a bet man, I'll say China on that. Um, like I said, this patch is immaculate. Anything like any copper color against anything that's red or any other primary color hits every single time. Full size run. Um, Definitely one I think I would want to pay attention to if I was a prospective hat buyer, which I'm not. I'm banned. I'm banning myself for a little minute. Let's see here. Another one that I think, I mean, we talked about the new color story hats that dropped.
Yes, sir.
That Texas that Chief showed. Really, really nice Crown 95 All-Star game. Super duper tough. I really like this eggshell, almost like eggnog type of white here. I say it all the time. I feel like the 95, the new All-Star game patch, and the final season patches are my favorite Texas Ranger patches. And I feel like we did really good with the colors here. Pink UV, black Gutta. I think these are all made in China.
Yep.
Whole pack is, and this is a full size run. So these dropped last this week, Tuesday. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely, definitely want to grab those. Um, we did also, as I was scrolling through the site, I saw that we still had a little bit of remnants of the Elite 8 pack left. We took bets on which hats were going to sell out first. But before we get to that, definitely want to talk about this Expos. I know we don't really give Expos hats a whole lot of love, but
That's my
this Expos
favorite.
hat in particular, crazy. I think this was arguably to me the best of the pack that we released on Tuesday. I just love how we, use the colors on the different curves of this logo. And then the side patch is like it's a little bit bigger than usual, but I feel like it works on this hat.
I
Um,
agree with that.
Landscape wise. Again, made in China. Tonal, but you have the baddie with the green and the black, and then this is a close up on that front logo. That metallic copper outline is insane. I think
Wow.
definitely that's one of those ones. Um, and still good sizes left. And then obviously we have to talk about the Elite Eight. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, I was actually very surprised at the Terps. So Maryland sold out. UNLV, shouts out to me and John.
Yes,
that
sir.
that one sold out because those are our promo hats. And then the Kansas Jayhawks, which was a surprise pick for me. I never saw the hat in hand until I got it to show off for last week's episode of recap. Insane hat in hand. So shouts out to everybody that grabbed that. There's still UCLA left. I want to say for Syracuse, which was one we thought was going to sell like crazy. There's still some good sizes left. Still a 8, still a 7, 3/8, 1/4
I know. I
there.
know.
So
Austin's hurting because it's the.
yeah, we were like, I think last week's
There.
episode, Austin was like convinced. He was just like, this is going to be the one that sells out. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to sell out, but it was definitely a very clean looking hat. I think World's Coziest did a reel with this. So shouts out to him. Very, very good crown. I thought this Elite 8 pack went really well. There's still some Michigan left. Shouts out to my Michigan brother, Mark. And then we also like, again, a very tonal crown. Oh, there's only one size there's only one size left in a size 7. So, clearly, you guys love the Elite 8 pack. We know that you did. Glad that y'all love it. And then we also have Florida, which is also sitting with some pretty good sizes as well. Florida is mean too. And I'd say my last slight sleeper would be this Arizona D-backs. I was actually surprised that this one is still sitting.
I mean, we've dropped that one a number of times, so I can actually kind of see why it's still there.
Yeah, but I still feel like it's a very solid everyday wearable crown, just kind of like the Oakland that we went through. Still good sizes left. So if you don't have this, good gray, metallic copper, red, black, that's wearable with a lot of things. If you know, you know. And I mean, yeah, I feel like those are of all the new arrivals that have came in recently. I feel like those are pretty much most of my sleepers.
Hell yeah.
And then we also have a little bit of can't forget about this. So I teased this a little bit on the live last week. So if you don't have an icy, shouts out to Frosty Preem, Icy New York, or specifically Icy 99,
Return of the
this is the
OG
hat for you.
Icy.
Yeah, this is a real good crown. White gutter, ICUV, obviously. Shouts out to Frosty. And then we got made in China. So not a louse. So if you're a louse hater a little bit, this one hopefully is more your speed and more your palette. Two-tone baddie on the back. So you have the navy and the light blue. And then solid all white New York Yankees logo. I know that this is Austin's favorite. That's why I'm sitting here a little bit longer to see if he'll say something. But other than that, very, very good site sleepers right now. This is a great time for hats, man. It's an
Hell yeah.
extremely great time for hats.
I
So,
gotta point two out real quick just because they came in the mail while I was in Vegas.
mhm,
Shout out to that boy Cash. I definitely picked up the Cleveland
mm,
and the Milwaukee's that he put out last week.
yep, I do like that. I do
Still a
like
few
that Cleveland.
sizes left in those, so get them. Without further ado,
Yeah,
we
that
got to bring our
Milwaukee is
guest
clean.
in. And I got to give a big birthday shout
Okay.
out first off. Ty Lodge and Ryan Allison. It is Ty's birthday, so everybody in the chat, please embarrass him with all the happy birthday chats. But here they are,
Hmm.
gentlemen.
What's
What
up,
is
guys?
up?
What's going on?
Yo, yo, what's
Yo,
up,
yo.
y'all? Thank you for the birthday wishes as well.
Oh yeah, man. Happy
Absolutely,
birthday.
man.
Yeah, good looks, man.
So, how's
Thank
your
you.
guys' day going so far?
It's been going good, man. Just just enjoying the Arizona heat. I know I'm kind of bundled up right now, but it's kind of in that weird area where like it's still cool to like wear some long sleeve, but just around the corner it's about to be like 100 degrees. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna
Oh, no
keep this
doubt,
on as long as I can.
especially down
Facts.
there.
But yeah,
So,
it's been great.
got to start with the obvious question first. What got you guys first in the hats? What was like the first hat that you recall ever wearing in your life?
Go first.
Damn, I've been wearing hats since I was born, essentially.
Hmm.
Uh, I grew up on the Navajo Nation, so Arizona didn't have a team when I was born, so we used to rep Rockies all the time.
Nice.
Hmm.
So my family, I've been wearing like, well, once the D-backs rolled around, I became a D-backs fan for sure. But when I was little, I have a ton of photos of me wearing Phoenix Sun stuff and Colorado Rockies stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess kind of same thing too. I can speak for both of us. I think we both grew up playing baseball as well, and just always having a cap around. And I used to have longer hair, and like it would be like a good like control too as
Yep.
well. Like I'd be
Hmm.
running around outside, be getting bushy, and just throwing on a fitted or throwing on like some type of hat would always kind of get me straight, give me looking all right, but.
I feel you.
And also just being a baseball fan in general too. Grew up a Diamondbacks fan, and my dad's a big baseball fan, and that's kind of where the foundation comes from on my
What
end.
what positions did you guys play out of curiosity?
I played center field and
Nice.
shortstop here and there. Yeah,
That's the speed game right there.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
1,000%.
I mostly played second base, and I would pitch
Ooh.
every now and then.
Yeah, that was the position actually I used to play. I used to play second base and shortstop. I like our my job actually had like a softball team, so we used to do that. But then I also played baseball when I was like little league, so that was one of my favorite positions.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, you guys, like you said, y'all been wearing hats for a while. How many hats do you both think that you currently own in your collection? If you're anything like me, I don't count anymore because I think I'll just make me upset with how much money I've like spent in the hats.
Yeah. No, I think it's same thing, yo. Like I probably have hats here at my crib, and probably have hats at my mom's crib and hats at my grandma's crib. Like it's crazy. I have a lot. Like but I probably only wear like the same like three low key, or like it either comes in rotations. I don't know,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's definitely up there. I say 20 plus for sure. Yeah, 30 plus, a little bit up there.
Solid
I
number.
definitely have I definitely have some cool hats that like I have no clue where they're at too. So I guess I'll count those as well. Those are part of the collection too.
1,000%.
I was actually just talking to my wife today about how many hats that I received for Christmas that I haven't even like opened or worn yet.
Yeah.
And it's a weird time where I'm very particular about hats. but still somehow have probably over 50. And that's just baseball caps. I mean, I have like cowboy hats. So when we go back to the res, I like wear cowboy hats, and I have
Nice.
like too many of those too. It's like, yeah, it's too. I have too many. That's basically the answer.
Yeah. So I think with the hat purchases I made this weekend, I just went over 363. So
Damn.
I actually have an Excel spreadsheet now that I have to keep track of like everything that I have. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to count anymore because I still have some that are on the way, and obviously I have friends that are being creative too. So I'm like, that number definitely, I'll probably be at 500 before the end of the year, more than
Yeah, I wear
likely.
a lot of vintage hats now. I have a humongous head also, so it's hard to find like one that looks normal on my head.
What
Yeah.
size do you wear?
I wear between a 5/8 and a 3/4.
Okay.
So sometimes hats, they're good width wise, but they're tiny at the top,
Yeah.
Right.
and I don't like that look. So I wear like a lot of these like old vintage hats where they flare out the top, and I like that.
I like your old school Disneyland hat you got rocking right now, trucker
Thanks.
style. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's a smart
Very
move right
clean.
there.
1000%.
Yeah, thank you.
So you both said you're both Diamondbacks fans. Is there a team you will not wear? And I'm assuming it's going to be the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I like how they both are just like, yeah, absolutely, yes. No Dodgers. No, none of that.
I personally won't wear any NL West hat unless it's a D-backs hat.
Smart move right there.
Yeah.
I probably won't wear any other hat unless it's a D-backs hat. With one exception, the one American League team that I do like is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay. How'd you
So
How'd you get onto that?
I don't know. It's honestly just the look. Like, I mean, I'm a graphic designer, so like the look itself and the logos, like they just have the sickest logo, and they've always had the sickest logo. And I love their like baby blue jerseys. The community and team that I played for when I was a kid had baby blue jerseys.
Okay.
So I guess that's where it kind of like the connection for me was like, oh, they're wearing baby blue. I'm going to cheer for them.
That's
So
pretty
is
solid.
your favorite logo the Strongbird logo, or do you like just the regular Blue Jay itself? Like, well, there's two different animal Blue Jays. There's the one that looks more like three-dimensional vector drawn, and then there's the other one that's more like flat colored or flatly drawn.
Yeah, I like them all actually. Like even the weird one that they had in like the mid like 2003 ish. Like even that one I dig.
That's rare. I don't hear many people even talking about that logo. I like at all. It's like, but actually, I mean, it's cool. I feel like there are teams out there that just have really good primaries and alternates, and I think, like you said, Toronto is definitely one of those squads that do that.
Yeah, I think their club is interesting too. Like they kind of get weird players like every now. Like I was really like when they were really good and they had like R.A. Dickey for a long time. And it's like he was the only knuckleball pitcher, so I was like, oh, of course I'm going to cheer for R.A. Dickey on the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
like they get weird players, and they get like super crazy good players too, like Vladdy or whoever.
I'm an Oakland A's fan, and so very similar to that. Like I always view us as like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and those the whole island of misfit toys, and that's kind of like what the A's aspect. The Blue Jays seem to do that as well, except they tend to get more talented players because they can actually afford it.
Yeah,
it's weird. They get them at weird times though. Like I don't know. It's either they get them too early or too late.
It's true. Or they try to convert, like Anthony Goes, for example. He was a premier outfielder, and then they try to convert him to pitcher and realized that wasn't working well. Then they traded him to the Tigers and became an outfielder again.
Yeah.
So
I guess to pull back to the NL West, it's crazy. There's a lot of talent in the NL West, and I'm kind of scared for this upcoming season.
I think you guys are fine. I mean, with the World Series last year, what's the worst that can happen from this point?
Otani, I guess.
He's got his own problems he's dealing with right now, so am I getting his head for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, given, like we said, we can already say off top, probably you guys have no Dodgers in your collection. So I think this will make this question a lot easier then. So what, in your opinion, is your best hat in your personal collection? And feel free to shamelessly brag if out of this collection that you guys just did, if that became your favorite? Because I feel like for most people that's what happens. It's like I made that, so that's automatically kind of my favorite now.
Yeah, I will. I will. I do have one LA Dodgers hat.
Oh,
Uh, but
Oh,
much love, respect to the homie that passed, Sponto from Born and Raised.
yeah.
It's a Born and Raised LA Dodgers hat.
Okay.
So
nice.
that's the only exception right there. But it's actually like one of my favorites too, which is kind of that's crazy. I don't know. That
No, that's a respectable.
that doesn't
You
come
get a
out too
pass for
often.
having a good answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good answer.
nah, definitely. I think this collection that we did is like, some of my favorite, just because of like how like close to home it is,
Mhm.
and like just being able to be a part of that. It's like bittersweet just to see it, wear it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I think those, all three of them, to be honest. But then the Dodgers Born and Raised hat, I think, are like my favorites.
Nice.
Say that. I agree
How
with
about
that.
you,
What
Ryan?
about you, Ryan?
I think right now this hat is my favorite
Okay.
because it's like getting disgusting, you know. Point. And I like that. I wear the shit out of my hats. Like I wear them
As you should.
till they're
Mhm.
like disintegrated, basically. But another one that I really like that I have still is it's sort of like a wine colored Blue Jays hat that I
Mm.
got when I was in high school. It's probably like 14 years old,
Sheesh.
but I retired that one. I don't wear it too often. It's just like tucked away in a box somewhere.
Yeah. That's like I feel like though, like I wish that the way that you wear your hats is the way people will wear their sneakers. I feel like
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
we forget that these are clothing items. They're meant to be
Oh
worn.
yeah.
They're meant to
yeah.
be beat up a
You
little
should
bit.
see the cement threes I have. They're destroyed.
As they like I said, as they should. Like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that's the whole
Well,
purpose of it.
right, and especially on the res where it's like you're dealing with mud and dirt, and when you ball, you're balling in like dirt basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you know, Jordans don't last very long on the res.
Like you said, it's like it's use case. It's they're your shoes, and it's like I feel like every time you look at them, it's like you have memories in them. Like I feel like if there's a shoe that's always sitting in a pedestal or a trophy case somewhere, it's like I have no memories with that shoe other than hey, I had it, instead of hey, I wore it, and this is how it made me feel, and everything else like that. So definitely clean.
Yeah, that's even with this collection that we did, taking it back home to where we grew up, and to take these hats back to the community and have the student athletes like literally wear them and put their fingerprints on them and get them dirty and scuff them a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
that made everything worthwhile for me. uh,
Yeah.
just to have that be a part of the environment, and it just meant a ton. Like, see this guy here, his name's Teton. He
Mm-hmm.
We just literally saw him in the field, and we were like, hey, do you want to wear a hat, do you want to model? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he got to get out of practice for about 20 minutes and take them.
I'm sure he didn't mind. I'm sure he didn't mind that, especially they were
Yeah.
doing base runs or outfield runs.
Yeah, this is
Go into
this
the
picture we're
story
looking
about
at
that.
is my, what's that, go ahead.
No. I cut out there as I was about to say something, so go for it. What I said was, since you're going into the story in regard to you bringing the hats back to the reservation, I felt like it was a great time to bring up the photos. You can go through and talk about each one.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I guess for those of you that might not be familiar, but we did a drop a couple, was it last week? Last week, where
Yep.
we paid homage to 3 reservation schools, and that's Tuba City High School, Alchese High School, they're part of the Apache Nation, and then Winter Rock High School, and that's where I'm from. That's where I graduated and played baseball. And some of these girls here are actually my nieces. They play for the softball team there,
That's awesome.
and it's cool to give softball love too, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like baseball doesn't get quite as much love, especially in our community, as like basketball. Like basketball is like the biggest sport on the reservation,
Mm.
and once that's over, it's like people tend to forget, like, hey, we actually have a softball and baseball team. So it was cool to highlight that and have the girls be a part of it and like for them to have fun and really, like I said, put their fingerprints on these hats. And it was so funny. Like when we were taking the pictures, we had to give these hats back to Hat Club because these
Hmm.
are the ones we were going to sell because we made so few of them.
Right.
And while watching them, I was like, please don't get nacho cheese on it. Don't like
No.
don't like spill your slushy on it. But it was cool. Like that's the environment that we wanted to capture, was like having fun with your friends during baseball, softball season.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think as I like started to read and learn more of the story behind these hats, it was like it was really cool to see like the actual communities that represented them embrace them the way that they did. It's like I feel like, with most marketing campaigns, you could kind of see where that's manufactured, where it's like there's
Totally.
not really a connection. But I felt like with each of these pictures, it looked like these were people that really enjoyed wearing the hats because it represented a part of who they were. So I thought that was super dope.
Yeah, it's true. And like I said, like none of this was curated. Like we literally showed up
Hmm.
and this kid just happened to be wearing that throwback jersey and he had those pit vipers on and we were like, okay, we like this
Nice.
dude's fit.
Yeah.
So let's have him hold some hats, you know?
Hmm.
How did it come to be that you guys got to do the partnership between you guys at Homeland and with Hat Club?
Yeah, I think it's been one of those conversations. Yeah, I just want to give also like a big shout out to Lorenzo and Andrew, part of the team. But it's just one of those conversations where we always respected what we did for work, and as like artists or creatives, we always have those conversations of, yo, we gotta do sometime, like, what I mean, let's
Yeah.
connect. And a lot of those times those conversations fall short or it just gets lost, but we actually like followed through with it. And it's such like a renaissance time for indigenous culture through different type of mediums like fashion and just realms like that. And we definitely want to give a big thanks to the homies, the Hack Club team, for letting us tell our story, you know what I mean, like full creative control. um I think stuff like that is very much needed, and we wanted to highlight that too as well, just like make sure the intention was there,
Hmm.
with throughout the creative process. And but it's just kind of, it stemmed from that, just just respecting each other's works and what we
Yeah.
do in the community, uh here in Phoenix and Arizona.
When did you guys first start talking? Because I remember when we did the Supermart event February of last year. That was kind of like when I recall being involved in the conversation at the start of like we
Mhm.
need to do something on of this caliber. Was it around that time or was it a little bit later?
Yeah, I think well, I think the conversation started a little bit before that, and then we were able to do that Super Bowl market, and then it led us to this point. And I know there's a lot of some, seeing what we did with this, it just opened up a whole realm of what else can be done, should be done, and needs to be done. And yeah, but it kind of started around that area. And much respect for that one too. We didn't really do too much on like the creative side of that. We just danced, showcased our culture through song and dance, and
Yeah,
it was more educational than doing anything creative. But the relationship has been going strong since that point on.
good.
Yeah.
It really makes me happy to hear that. I'm glad that we got to do this with you guys.
Hmm.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We always say that, 'cause, 'cause like I said, there's it's like a renaissance time for indigenous peoples and creatives. Like, you got shows like Killers of the Flower, movies that like Killers of the Flower Moon that
Hmm.
came out, that
Hmm.
Predator movie that came out,
Yep.
Reservation Dogs. Ralph Lawrence did a collaboration with our friend Naomi Glasses. And it's a beautiful time to show indigenous culture. And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of the time, our communities are kind of shown, uh, just showing like the negative parts of it, or like it's very poverty pouring. And we just wanted to highlight the beauty behind it. Like, as you can see from this picture, it's a big smile on her face,
Yeah.
Hmm.
beautiful brand new softball field in the background. There's a lot of beauty within our community. And that kind of goes hand in hand with like fashion and hat culture, sneaker culture. So, it's
Exactly.
definitely a blessing to be able to showcase and tell that story and show this part of the community and do it in the tasteful, authentic way.
Hmm. And I mean, just to your point, Ty, as you're talking, I really feel like, this was obviously a very great and successful first campaign. So, obviously this campaign had a whole bunch of success. Has there been talks about, a second go round, maybe highlighting, other areas or other aspects of, homeland and, reservation culture? So have you guys considered that, or where is that as far as conversations are going?
Yeah, no doubt. The crazy thing is too is us as Homeland, we're not a year old yet.
Yeah.
This is our fourth collection like ever, like
Hmm.
our fourth project ever, and so there's definitely a lot more that we want to show and tell. It's been a busy past few months, and we just want to be be able to be those people that give that proper representation, and also do it in a fly way too. Like
Yeah.
that's the cherry on top. Is like at the end of the day, it looks nice, it's cool, it's fly. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like that's the part that comes second nature, and uh, just wanting to attack the intention part and make it make sense once you peel back the layers and have some type of substance to it. But yeah, there's definitely conversations of showing more and doing more. Yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely optimistic of what we started here.
Yeah, and I feel like chat's hitting on some really, cool points too, because they're just like, yo, like, why was it so limited? And obviously, like you said, there's certain things in the creative process that you do have control over.
Mm.
There are other things that you have to kind of compromise and find eye to eye on. Did you feel like, as you guys release this collection to the public, did you get that response a lot? Like, man, we wish there was more stock, or we wish there was more hats. Yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
We're still getting DMs about like, hey, when's the next drop? Or hey,
Yeah.
do you have some left?
Mm-hmm.
And it's bittersweet, right? Because it's like it's cool that people feel so connected and want like everybody wants it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also hard because we necessarily can't give it to them, right? Like not
Yeah.
not yet at least, or maybe
Right.
maybe in the future we can do some sort of we could run it back, or maybe we could do another collaboration.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think being that it's all about community, we wanted community members to have these hats,
Mm-hmm.
and making it very limited also makes it harder, right, for
Yes.
community members to get the hats.
How
And
I
Mm-hmm.
was
when I
gonna
say
say, how
community,
long
like
did it take to sell through the entire stock?
it took 2 hours.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's including our hat pins and the shirts that we made.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up. Do
Yeah.
one of you guys have the pins on you right now by any chance? Because I didn't at the time. I'm gonna stop sharing this for a sec so you could get you on a bigger screen and show you
Yeah,
off.
let's see, kind of see it.
I'm jealous because I love
Wow.
collecting the pins, and I wish I could have been there for the drop. Because I definitely wanted to scoop one up, a hat and a
Mhm.
pin, more specifically. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like the pins are going to be equally as sought after as the hats are as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
who
they were
who
great.
de-
I
who,
didn't even
desi- who
get them.
designed the pin?
I guess I did, but it's essentially our logo,
Mhm.
and we didn't want to overthink it and do
Mhm.
something too. Well, let's just put our logo on it, and yeah, and
Yeah.
it looked cool.
And I feel like that's like minimal, minimal design. Sometimes, like you said, just go a long way. It's like you don't have it doesn't have to be extravagant. I think the hats themselves, color placement, storytelling, I feel like that's a lot, packaged into that. So I think the fact that the pin is a little bit more minimal actually really complements the collection and makes it that much better. So I mean, kudos to you guys for doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, and to that end, I mean, obviously, like you guys said, y'all are big, D-backs fans. So do you guys find like with this collection, it was really hard to break it down to three styles? Like, were there other teams that y'all had in the mix that were like outside of the D-backs for like maybe we could, go this direction, or was it pretty much D-backs 100% for all the hats in the collection?
Yeah, I think it made most sense to do D-backs.
Hmm.
Just because we're catering to Arizona schools, and I think the challenging part was including all communities.
Yeah.
Because there's 22 federally recognized tribes within the state of Arizona,
Mhm.
and I mean, not every of those communities have high schools, let alone athletic programs, let alone baseball and softball teams.
Mhm.
But after we dropped it, we did see a lot of comments of like, oh, yo, what about us? What about this school? What about that school?
Yeah.
And that was like more so the challenging part of like picking, uh, what school we want to cater to. But so with Winter that's kind of, that one was biased. Like, is that one's
Yeah.
hometown, so that one
Right.
was a given.
Makes
But
perfect sense.
Yeah.
yeah, but but
Got-
the other two are very strong, have very strong communities. I mean, they all have strong communities, but we just love that like canary yellow look and that all green look too as well. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know,
The criteria that we gave ourselves for what schools to pick
Mhm.
was one, the community that in which they represented.
Mhm.
So Tuba City, the Green Hat, that community is uh, mostly made up of Hopi students and Navajo students.
Mhm.
So we wanted to represent both those tribes, right? And then our hometown, the blue, the Winter Rock colorway, that is mostly Navajo. There are several other, members or students here that are not Navajo, also, but mostly Navajo, and that, of course, that's where we grew up, so we're biased. And
Right.
then the yellow hat, it represents Alchese and White River. That's the White Mountain Apache tribe.
Mhm.
They're just east of Phoenix, a couple hours. So again, the three criteria was the community, and then also did they have a baseball and softball program,
Mhm.
and then lastly was the colors, because we at one point had three schools, but then we were like, oh wait, all their colors are blue, so we can't have three blue hats.
Right.
So that's kind of like the boundaries we set for ourselves, and that's how we settled on these three colorways.
Yeah, and like we said, I like that, you guys have a tonal hat in the pack, and then you have, obviously you have the two tones as well. I think like you said, it just goes to show like, packs that typically have different colors and diversity. It's just gives it a lot more wearability. And I think that like you said, I mean, you guys play with three different front logos. You have Arizona spell out, and you have the script itself, and then you have the, traditional, D-backs logo, front logo that most of us are used to seeing on most crowns. So I think, like Chat's saying, I think you guys did an extremely great job on executing and,
Yeah.
and being, very intentional about the schools you picked so that the colors, went well together. It can almost be almost like a elemental type of thing, when I look
Yeah.
at blue, green, and then also yellow, as far as like earth colors.
Another thing that I think that I guess working with Hat Club, that our homies from Hat Club realized, and I guess what everyone else should realize too, is when you're working with indigenous folks, there's like a culture aspect that you have to take into consideration.
Hmm.
So like I'm Diné or I'm Navajo, and we don't fuck with snakes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that was very conscious of us, where we're like, okay, if we're doing the Winter Rock, mostly Navajo kids go to school there, we're not putting snake stuff on it.
Huh.
Hmm.
Which is funny, because we've had conversations with the D-backs where they want to like cater to native people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's hard because all your stuff has snakes on it.
Oh man.
But I think we kind of we kind of when we talked, I think we did an interview, a couple recap episodes ago, like storytelling. I think that that's an important aspect of that, and I think that that's a key consideration. When you talk about creating a
Totally.
pack that really appeals to different people, it's like knowing those small nuanced things to others may be like, ah, it's not that big of a deal, but for you, it's like it's an intentional design step, and
Totally.
it's a conscious decision, like you said, if this is going to be a hat that people wear, making sure that it's culturally sensitive, but as well as culturally relevant to
Mhm.
what's
Totally.
going on. So, kudos
Yeah,
to you guys for doing
I
that.
think that's what makes it, like, I don't want to say difficult, but like there are extra steps when working with an indigenous team or indigenous creative, because you have to consider those.
Mhm.
And if you don't, it could end up pretty bad, right? Like, say
Mhm.
if we, I don't know, it's hard. It gets very nuanced and it gets very layered. I don't want to go into it a whole
Yeah.
bunch, but that's essentially something we considered and that you have to consider when you work with like native creatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the one thing I want to bring up from a logo design perspective is
Yeah. Let's see here.
at Cursive Rip Diamondback out there for a second. So I'm going to restart my question again. I
Yeah,
want to say I'm
a little
very
bit.
impressed with the fact that you guys
Yeah.
use the cursive style Diamondback script. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but you guys were actually the first person to use that logo on a custom hat. Um, how did that come about? Just because it had just been made available like not too long ago.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I think I mean, kind of mostly just to, not beat around the bush, but mostly for that reason specifically.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, no one's done this. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And
It was a smart call.
yeah,
Right.
and
Trailblazer.
it looks tight too. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
fits the like baseball and the story that we're trying to tell too. Like, the window at the high school, their jerseys, have a similar like script font across, and so it made sense to include it and also be able to carry like, oh yeah, we did it first type of deal.
Yeah. Like you said, being a trailblazer in that space, and you kind of setting the bar for like other people that come behind, and
Yeah,
just they're like, okay, cool. Like it's gotta hit like at least that or better. Like,
yeah.
like yeah.
But it was also kind of like it's also kind of scary too because we're like, oh man, like we're the first ones. Like, I mean, to me, the colorways are very like, you know, not out of the ordinary, but I think we didn't really make this collection with the thought of, oh, this looks tight, like this is the perfect colorway. I think we're more so focused on like the intention and like the storytelling
Hmm.
and the layers aspect of it, and so we're curious how these hats would be perceived. But I mean, it turned out great. It,
Yeah.
it was a sellout, so I don't know.
I love that for
It
you guys.
worked.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like you guys said, the biggest takeaway from the event is that, the school districts that inspired the collections, are going to be receiving donations, a percentage of the proceeds, but is there ways, just because you guys are on Switch and platform, that we're, providing, are there ways that people can donate to the programs directly themselves without, necessarily purchasing a hat?
Yeah, I think well, we are planning some more stuff with community involvement. So
Hmm.
I think the best option at this point is just to stay tuned.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, I just be on the lookout. There's a lot of like kind of like we've been emphasizing. We're really community driven. I know that word gets thrown around very loosely, but we want to continue to have have that intention and be able to do more dope shit like this more often. And so this isn't the last one. There's a lot more coming soon, and I think the best way to stay in the loop or to do that is just kind of keep our eyes open.
Dude, I'm fired up.
1,000%. Yeah, man.
Um,
Exactly.
I got a specific question for you, Ryan, because you had mentioned earlier a lot of the reservations are more basketball focused as opposed to baseball. So I was curious if there's a possibility of a future collab of doing maybe not necessarily with like anything Phoenix Suns related, but something maybe because you're a graphic designer. I went to Oregon, but I'm going to do this anyway. But forks up to you because I know you're an ASU guy.
Yeah.
Um, Possibility of doing like basketball jerseys because I have a ton of basketball jerseys, and I'm always in the mood for adding some more. But I mean, just to do like a hat jersey kind of collaboration design,
Mhm.
is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean it's always a possibility. Uh, it's kind of funny because like we definitely cater to things that like maybe don't get enough shine, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like I said, basketball is huge on the res. And just to kind of give you some context of how big it is, there was a photo back and one of the photos that you showed where you could see this space that the Window Rock team plays in. It's the one where the girl's smiling.
Oh yeah. Let me go right to it. One sec. There it is.
So
Oh
that
dang.
that building back there is our basketball
Wow.
gym, and it seats 6,000 people. That's how big basketball is on the
Wow.
res.
Wow.
and that's one of 4 giant arenas on the res.
And this is a high school, right? This
That's
is
a high
like,
school.
wow, that almost looks like a college, like almost like a JUCO
Yeah,
facility
it's
right there.
bigger than some colleges. It's nuts.
Dang.
And that's just to kind of give you the scope of how big basketball is. So of course we would do a basketball jersey. We would love to do a basketball jersey, but
Yeah.
it all all in a time when it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, yeah, like, and like you said, right now, I think that's why you guys went the direction of baseball, because like you said, because basketball is so kind of overpowering, it's like you guys it can easily get forgotten in the shuffle that baseball, other spring sports, softball exist outside of just that. So I
Totally.
mean, yeah, I mean, and you can go so many different ways with it, whether it's basketball jerseys, basketballs themselves, yeah, I feel like there's so much creative, mining that can be done from that, and ways, again, like you said, to be nuanced and culturally sensitive, to the groups and reses that you choose to represent. So
Yeah.
definitely, guys. I mean, we appreciate it. Chat. If you're not following Ty, you're not following Ryan.
Do
Definitely
it.
yes, do it. Hit the Hat Club page. They are collabed as contributors on that post for all the hats that they just released in Phoenix recently. So definitely give them a follow. Keep tapped in with them. Make sure you know what they're doing. And if there's opportunities and you're in the AZ area and you just want to support, come out. Definitely link up with them. See what they got going on. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
chopping it
seriously.
up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and likewise, I appreciate like I said, just grateful to be able to tell our own story and
Mhm.
have conversations like this is what progresses the culture and what progresses X, Y, and Z. So definitely appreciative of y'all and the
Yeah.
opportunity to come in here and speak and continue to do what we do. So much
No
love
doubt.
for
Yeah.
I look forward.
1000%.
I look forward to finally meeting you guys the next time I'm in Arizona. So
Yeah, yeah,
no
and I
doubt.
apologize for not being there for the drop.
Oh, all good, man. For first of many, we got
Absolutely.
still got a lot to do.
Facts. I was like, yeah, this is all these events that are happening in AZ is just like, all right, yeah, we're going to circle some time on the calendar. I gotta come out and come hang out.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
care. It's 100 degrees in the summer. I gotta come and hang out.
Yeah, Arizona's it's a beautiful place right now. There's a lot of great shit going on.
1000%, guys. We appreciate y'all. And like I said, if y'all aren't following Ryan and Ty, definitely make sure that y'all are following them on IG. Appreciate you, man. Ty, happy birthday again.
Happy birthday,
thank
Ryan,
you.
it was a pleasure to
Appreciate it.
meet you. And we can't wait to see what else you guys cook up, and hopefully, another collab with Hat Club is in the future.
No doubt.
Totally.
Yeah, guys. All right.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, shout y'all.
Do another brim
That
switch.
was awesome.
Yeah, that was like super dope. I was gonna do the brim switch, but I felt like the conversation was so good. I was like, it could wait. It could wait until we.
No, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, chat, everybody, appreciate you being like super cool about that. And I saw Best of AZ. You were actually out there for the event. I'm glad you were able to scoop something up.
Mhm.
And everybody else who went out. Very jealous of you guys right now because I really wish I
Yeah.
could have been there.
Me too. I'm like all the stuff they got, then 2-piece nat and water releasing stuff. I just feel like Arizona is gonna be like super content after this month's over. I feel like they're good on events for a good 3 months after this.
Oh, absolutely. And to actually answer a question I saw somebody post earlier in regard to go with the basketball theme and stuff like that. There is a possibility of more of those Final Four teams. I mean, because where is the Final Four this year?
Mm.
Phoenix, Arizona.
So things happen for a reason, guys. There are no accidents.
True.
Aliens.
I hope I'm not lying. I hope I'm correct in this assumption right now. But
anyway. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I said, it's great things. I mean, I want to say that a couple of these events were actually held on the same grounds as Supermart.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
again,
many worlds.
Yeah, so a great callback by the brand, and just go back and really mine and deal with the communities and stuff like that. So but it's all good. Yeah. So Ben, we got hats to show, man. We
do got hats to show. We got a drop for Thursday. We got a drop for Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, plus some variety pack hats that are mixed in the bunch there. I didn't have them send me all the variety pack hats. I'm gonna let you guys be surprised on a bunch of them. But Friday and Sunday are gonna be variety pack days. I've got a few for Friday, but let's kick things off with Thursday.
Yes,
So,
sir.
shit,
Oh,
I went the wrong way.
yeah.
Sorry. VHS pack is dropping tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Hackclub.com, Hack Club
Mhm.
app, and in no particular order. First off, we got LA Dodgers to give you guys a little bit of a closer look. So it's kind of that. What is the term that I can't think of right now as
Like
far as that stuff?
Necco,
What's that?
like a Necco type of like, or like a. It's like well, no, it's not really Necco because it's not the trail color, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
think what the color, what that would be
But
like.
it's like multi-layered. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily like it's cascade was the word I was looking for, but it's not
right.
necessarily a cascade. It's like a kind of like an off-center layering
Mhm.
of the logos and colors and stuff like that. So mix
Yeah,
of a little bit of turquoise, like Easter colors in a sense, pink,
yeah.
a little bit of fuchsia, a little bit of goldenrod, etc. So
Mhm.
LA Dodgers 1988 World Series is the first one. So yeah, like a blur. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Light
blew
leak
that
in
one.
there.
But all black crown, black button, black upper visor. RGB flash fire on it. Flat stitch baddie on the back, so just straight black and white. Cool gray under visors, but of course, like details on the inside. So the very fancy Hack Club tag with like the VHS label that's on the interior there.
Mhm.
And all of these are going to be made in Bangladesh. So
I
LA Dodgers up first.
Yeah, I feel like this reminds me of the bars that you would see whenever you put a VHS tape in first before it actually started to play. So,
Yes.
shouts
Oh
out to
my
the team
God.
for that. Good little nostalgia in there.
I like that. Austin's favorite, New York Yankees, up next. So a little bit bigger of a logo for the front logo, but a lot of that has more to do with just to pack more details in there, especially with the colors. 1999 World Series, which always seems to be our go-to anytime we do a new collection or a new pack.
Mhm.
Flat stitch baddie, of course. Cool gray under visor, made in Bangladesh. And once again, there's that VHS tag on the interior. I love the
Yeah.
details on these.
Yeah. Peace had a good question. Are these glow in the dark? Are any of these glow in the dark?
Um, I don't think so because I can tell just for it, I think it's just straight white threading on these, not necessarily the glow in the
Mm,
dark stuff.
copy.
Yeah, not glow in the dark.
Yeah.
My name is Eric. I got to pull out your comment. So give me those vibes when Cinemax Late Night would come on and it would come in too fuzzy. Yes. God damn it. Houston Astros up next. Open Star, of course, from the early 2000s, with the 2005 World Series side patch. I know it's a losing series, but I know it had to do with the fact that it's a Globe logo, has to do with the details with the VHS and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I like this one. I think that the side patches that were picked go with the theme, like with the 99, like you could kind of see the trailing with the different
Yep.
colors. I like the globe choice. So yeah, again, I did Freddie cook these up?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So it's like I like one thing that you guys will notice probably about it's like certain packs that we've done, that attention to detail. I think that that's something from a design perspective. When you think of it, it really helps pull a pack together, pull a hook together.
Hell yeah. Seattle Mariners up next, which I think actually had like really gives off that great blur vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. With this, with that logo, that's really well executed. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
really interesting to go with the 1995 All-Star Game side patch. So not a typical connection between the two there, but I know Freddie's got his reasons for it.
Yeah. Kobe, not Kobe. I agree with you. I think that a drop Shadow S on this one would have been immaculate. That would have went crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm also not mad at this too because it's kind of giving me retro vibes.
Oh yeah. All the details there. Boom.
Hmm.
And last but not least, so yeah, it's only 5 teams. And somebody asked a second ago if these are going to be dropping in stores. They are not. It's going to be online only. So hackclub.com, Hack Club app on these. And these, of course, are dropping tomorrow, as in Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Little
Hmm.
bit bigger logo for the 2001 World Series, which I like a lot.
I do. I do. Yeah. And this, yeah, that D-backs, I feel like again, that front logo is like you could just do so much with that from a color blocking perspective. This is
Yeah.
executed perfect. This is my favorite one, I think, that you've shown.
I agree with that, and I know I said they're not going in any particular order, but I'll be honest, I put them in the order that I thought they were my favorite, so
Mhm. No. Big Show, like, I will say the same thing. I think that it's been it's been around for a while, but I think as of lately, I think with the upside down D-back logo, the front logo D with the snake has always been, I feel like, just the playground for designers. So I feel like they've been there, but I feel like as of nowadays, it's definitely picking back up.
Elk Dot, you hit it on the head. That is exactly why it's the 95 All-Star Game patch. Shout
Mm.
out to Dave Niehaus for any of you guys who never followed Mariners baseball as closely as I did, especially for the years I lived in the Pacific Northwest.
Mhm.
My oh my. Yes. And to go back as far as like the interior for the Compass logo, because of the fact that there is not a color layering on that, with the exception of the outside point right there on the left and the right. Yeah, I can see how it kind of gets blurred into that.
Yeah.
But seeing it in person actually looks a lot better than seeing it through a camera lens, which is
Yeah.
actually really interesting.
Yeah, and I agree, Chana. It looks like it glows. This if there was anyone that you show that I thought would glow, it would be that one. It would be the
Yeah,
Seattle.
100%. But yeah, these are the 5 tomorrow, Thursday, as in
Mhm.
11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, hackclub.com, Hack Club app. There we go.
Stitches.
Moving on into Saturday, and then we'll Tarantino this back to the variety pack hats for Friday.
Mhm.
Up next is the Southwest collection. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hats in this. Really kind of curious what you guys are going to think of this. I'm going to go use that one last. Hold on one sec. I forgot to put these in a particular order. All right, I'm going to start with the Dodgers again. So, dark khaki, so kind of that peanut butter, style khaki for the crown, upper visor, and button. This is going
Mhm.
to be an off-white or bone colorway inside the interior there with the dark maroon exterior. 50th anniversary of Dodger Stadium, so a little bit of brown, a little bit of light blue, metallic gold.
Yep.
Flat stitch Batterman logo on the back, so a little bit of maroon and kind of like a dark teal on the interior there.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets amazing.
Wow.
The
Okay.
serape print on the interior of the sweatband.
Mhm.
Sexy.
See, and I'm gonna be honest. I've seen other stores and other companies use that same print like on the visor or
Yep.
somewhere else, and I've always been like, I don't really like it anywhere else. I like it here. I think it's a very subtle detail. It just
Yeah,
allows the hat to just be a hat. I like that.
I agree. And all these are going to be made in Bangladesh, all 100% polyester. So this one is what I say, 6. So number 1 of 6. So LA Dodgers.
That's the Wheat Tim special right there. You get any of those? That's Wheat Tim City all day.
I'm excited to get the reaction or gauge the crowd for this one because somebody keeps hitting me up on Twitter saying we don't do enough of this team or we haven't lately. Colorado Rockies, but I agree. We have not done a Colorado
Mm.
Rockies hat in actually quite a while.
And
So
that's all metallic
2015,
gold in there?
yeah, maroon and metallic gold for the side patch there.
Okay. All right. All right.
I feel like this is a low-key sleeper right here.
Yeah,
Damn
Cap
you, Cap Crusader, don't say that.
and I think here I this is gonna be chat. This is probably gonna be a rare time where me and Cap Crusader are on the same page. I personally would have wanted to see the mountain there just
I get it. I get it.
with the same color scheme that they did in the side patch.
Yeah.
Double mountain, I think would have went crazy.
No, I totally get where everybody's coming from in that. Personally, for me, I like it just because the fact it's been a while since we've done a CR logo for any kind of a pack or collection.
Mhm.
But yes, I totally get where everybody's coming from on that.
Yeah, but I mean, still, even with the CR, that's still very clean. I like that they're still sticking with the brown, with the brown accents throughout the logo. Yeah, maybe the cactus. Best of AZ. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad
No,
at that take either. I'm not
no,
mad at
and
that.
that's why I feel like it's going to be a low key sleeper because I think there are some people out there who do like the CR Rockies logo, so I think they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks, of course, up next. So
Okay.
off white on the interior, black, maroon, dark teal in the scales. 2011 All-Star Game. So this is a patch that's always kind of hit or miss with Diamondbacks fans.
Yeah.
I get that. But I
Mhm.
think a lot of this one specifically has to do with the style of printing for the side patch,
Yeah.
because it connects in really well with the sweatband.
Yeah. I was like, I feel here I'm not mad at it because we're expanding out to use different patches. I think it would have been expected to go 98.
Yeah.
I was like, but I think I'm not mad at that here. Definitely not
No.
mad at it.
And like I said, it's because of the design graphics that are going on for the sweatband, like it goes
Mhm.
perfectly with it.
Yeah,
So I have to
definitely
think
one thing.
creatively that is why this was pitched.
Yeah. And that, you know what? Actually, who was it that said so best at AZ, since the cactus logo, like you're talking about, since it's called the Southwest Pack, I actually feel like that cactus Colorado Rockies might have been that would have been really been on brand. That would have been the hat of the pack to me.
I kind of
Low
agree with
key.
that.
Mm.
Oh, don't worry, I'll show it again, China. New York Yankees up next. So a little bit
Mm.
of a maroon outline. So just like the LA Dodger one, bone off-white interior, 1999 World Series patch, of course.
Hmm.
Flat stitch baddie. And then for you, Chana, there's the interior. So it's actually not black, it's brown. So depending on how the light catches there, that's a little bit better. So yeah, bit of brown, maroon, goldenrod. Someone said metallic gold, but it's not metallic on the inside.
Mhm.
And of course, turquoise is the color scheme as far as the sweat patch,
Yeah.
sweatband. Sorry, I was looking at the side patch or the
Gotcha.
patch on the inside. So there is a Hat Club tag on the inside. I'm just blowing this one.
No,
Yes, these are regular polyester.
I do I'm kind of with Chad on this. I'm curious as to Southwest Pack. So we had Colorado, LA, D-backs, and then now New York. So I was
Yeah,
wondering,
the New York doesn't really fit into the mix there. I agree. But Yankees hats always sell, so I feel like there was a creative
yeah,
liberty that was kind of taken with that one. Whereas Houston Astros definitely falls within this category.
yes.
More specifically, the 1960s, 1970s style Houston Astros. So flat stitch, no dimension as far as the H logo. So the old school style, straight
Mhm.
maroon, straight off white for the H. 1986 All Star Game,
Ooh, yeah.
clutch.
Chat, yeah, I agree with Chat on this one. There's the one of the pack. It's that one. It's that one.
Oh, wait till you see the last one.
Yeah, I think it's the color blocking on that horseshoe on that
Yeah,
All-Star game patch. I think that's yes, exactly. No, Zegger. Yeah, that's definitely it.
I have to agree with that. I will say between this one and the next one I'm going to show you, I do like this one better simply because of the side patch, the usage, and just everything just kind of ties itself in together.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, here's the last one.
Mm.
Bam.
Okay. All right. All right. So we didn't get the drop shadow in VHS, but we get it in the Southwest. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Block
I
S baby, 25th anniversary. Once again, shape, coloring has to do a lot with what's going on with the sweatband. So, personally, yeah, this one's my favorite. Houston Astros, of course, is going to be the number 2.
Super
It's so
S.
pretty.
Yeah, and that metallic gold, and then
Yep.
you got that brown drop shot. Yeah. Okay. All right. I should have waited until the end. I shouldn't have tried to guess I shouldn't have tried to guess the plot before we saw the whole movie. Okay.
No, but I agree with everybody. Like the side patch on this one, you trumps this one. So I will give flowers where due. But in
Yeah, I
regard to
feel
front
like
logo, this one
yeah.
is the king.
I think if you're putting them side to side, like you said, I think just the Houston Astros is just it transitions from really good, I mean basic or minimal front logo to great side patch, and then the
Yep.
Seattle is kind of like great front logo. Side patch is okay. There's definitely other ones that I'm sure could have been picked. I really would have wanted to see the 30th on that because it has the rolling hills and everything, so that would have
Yes.
been a chance to play with a lot of color. But I understand it. I'm also with Chat in the sense that I'm surprised we didn't get San Diego in here. Um, and then also even just the LA Angels or California Angels, like
I
I
was
feel
thinking the
like that
same
would have
thing.
been a good thing. Yeah.
Hell, actually, I feel like we could have done some minor league ones in here. Could have thrown some, you know,
Yeah.
Phoenix Firebirds. We could have thrown an Albuquerque Isotopes in there.
Hmm. I feel like, I mean, if we're gonna call it the Southwest Pack, I feel like that's. But I get it. You know, Southwest
Yeah.
could be a color, but it could also be a geographical thing. So I think we kind of played with both of those ideas there.
I agree. So
Mhm.
those, sorry, let me bring it back up again. The Southwest Pack, these are going to be dropping on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, hackclub.com, Hack Club app, but only on the website and only on the app. So Tucson Toros, good call, third in line on that one. Sub Diego saying the Diablos, the Storm, the Quakes. I agree with those.
I'm still sick about that
Texas
Quakes.
Rangers.
Yeah, I'm still sick about that Quakes. That was an LA exclusive that I didn't know about. That one right there is it's nasty work. That's a great
No.
crown.
All right, we're going to flash forward into Monday.
Mhm.
I'm going to go through these really quick because these are a returning collection. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. So
Mhm.
don't get mad at me. But this is a collection that you guys loved and a lot of people have wanted to see come back. And that, of course, is the Black Dome Trucker hats because we're going into summer right now, or at least the
Yep.
early stages of it. Thank God daylight savings has started, ended. I don't remember.
Yeah, started. Yeah.
Started. Back on the same time frame, so at least it's going to be a little bit sunnier out. But
Mhm.
first up, Houston Astros script going across the front, or jersey script, 35th anniversary for the side patch. All of these, of course, are going to have the red, white, and blue flat stitch Batterman logo on the back, retro green under visor, black sweatband, and all these are made in Laos.
Mm.
Of course,
Laos
it's a
is-
7.25. Hold on, let me see if I can get over my 7.5 head.
Mhm.
No, too small. I'm a half. But yes, navy on the interior there. So it's going to be all team colorway as far as the side patches, as far as the front logos and stuff are concerned. Just all of them are the black domes and they're all trucker style, baby. So
Mhm.
number one. Number two is going to be the return of the Atlanta Braves jersey script, of course.
Yes, sir.
1876 logo for the side patch.
I like that. It's very, very breathable hat.
Yeah.
Tomahawk.
Old 98, the old 98 front logo with the full script. 1998 inaugural season for the side patch.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that.
Of course, the Yankees had to come back, but it's going to be the 1977 All-Star game for the side patch on this one.
Clean. I like that.
St. Louis Cardinals jersey logo, so double birds on the bat, 125th anniversary.
I like that we've been using the double bird logo a little bit more than before.
Seattle Mariners primary logo for the front with the 35th anniversary side patch. San Diego Padres primary 25th anniversary.
I like that. Actually, like that's one of my favorites. I do like that.
And then last but not least, Oakland A's 2000 spring training logo. So sunglasses on the Stomper Elephant with the 30th anniversary. So these ones are going to be in store on the website, on the Hack Club app, Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you missed out the first time, you got another crack at it. So,
Hey.
all right. Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. These are going to be online on the app and in stores. These are called the Coral Undervisor. And I got to start with this one specifically because some of these are better than others. I'm not saying this is a bad one, but I just feel like this is a good place to start.
Okay.
So, all navy blue. A little bit of that coral metallic colorway in the side patch, of course. So very strong blue hour vibes to this one. But of course, the selling point is the undervisor, which of course is going to be this hot fluorescent coral colorway. Same thing going on the flat stitch baddie on the back. So navy blue and coral, of course, on either side. But yeah, black sweatband, coral undervisor, and all these are going to be made in China.
I do like the 45th on here. I do like how we're playing with coral. I don't know if I would have went coral UV as well as coral in the side patch,
I get it.
but I get it. I mean, you're trying to tie the color together.
Yep.
I would have liked to see gray on these. Possibly gray on these, but not mad at it.
So with that, now we go into the rest of these. So San Francisco Giants going full script on with the Tell It Goodbye. Shout out to Lon Simmons for the Candlestick Park side patch here.
Mm-hmm.
China, this one's for you, baby. Boom.
Yeah.
Flat stitch baddie, and of course, coral UV, black sweatband, made in China.
Okay. I can see what we did here. We had the pink color story before, and then now we have this.
Yep. Chicago White Sox up next. 95th anniversary. So a little bit bigger version. We started first doing the bigger version of this side patch with, if you can see it on my wall. Sorry, there it is. Went bigger with that one. So which case it was always kind of a small side patch anyway. So I'm glad to see, you can see a little bit more detail within it. So the 95 years patch.
Yep.
But flat stitch baddie, coral UV, black on the sweatband, made in China.
A Cubs would have been
Cubbies. See, here's what I hate. I hate the fact that I have to give compliments to the Cubs because I keep seeing this logo and it makes me think White Sox. But of course, the 1990 All-Star game for the side patch, of course, just brings me back to reality and knowing that it is a Cubs hat.
Yeah, I think with this one, I wish that this was a script that we used in for SneakerCon, right? This was one that we did for SneakerCon. Yeah,
Yes, we did.
I like that. Like I said, I don't mind the coral color against the tonal blue. I don't think that I mind that as much. I just wish that we went a different direction with the UV. But since we did the color story last week and we did pink, I guess coral is adjacent on the color wheel to that. So we went that route.
I personally dig it because I love navy blue and I like to use a different color that's not necessarily icy. It's not necessarily pink. It's just something different. Next up, Atlanta Braves.
Okay. All right.
So 1876 patch. So exactly like the black dome trucker I just showed you a second ago. So flat stitch baddie and of course coral UV black guts on this, made in China.
Of course you hate it, Cap Crusader. I don't hate it. It's just like I said, I would wear that. I feel like if I was, I feel like I would wear it. I challenge myself.
Somebody dropped a comment here. I actually think it was K Crusader saying these with those atmosphere gum Jordan 1s are going to go crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I mean, I was thinking those. I was also ironically enough thinking about the guavas, the Union 4 guavas. That's kind of like when I saw some of these colors, you could kind of dress it up with that as well.
I like that.
But definitely the atmospheres I could see, definitely going crazy with these two.
Texas Rangers up next. The only thing I find interesting about this is background color and front color are the same. I would have kind of expected they would have thrown a little bit of coral, maybe some metallics in there, but I don't hate it. It just looks like a skeleton in a sense.
I feel like I would have done I feel like I would have did a metallic copper outline if they would have did the copper on the drop shadow. I think that would have been good contrast. But I'm like you said, triple white on the front logo. I'm not upset about that.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
LA Dodgers up next, of course, because there's always going to be a Dodgers in the mix. 40th anniversary of Dodger Stadium for the side patch.
This is one of those times I would have wanted the other anniversary. I always forget which one it is.
The 50th stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that, especially with coral accents in there, I feel like would have went crazy. But I'm not mad at that choice either.
No, But I agree, because I feel like the use of metallics in the same sense that we did with the Houston Astros 45th, you could have done the same thing with the 50th stadium.
Yeah.
But once again, this one's got metallic silver, the coral, the baby blue. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, New York Yankees on-field version of the 98 World Series. So I think this is what, the third time we've used this logo this year, maybe the second?
Yeah, I think we've had some. I've seen some hats drop at NoHo that have that same because it's not the media guy. That is the media guy patch, correct, or is it the non-media guide?
Boom. CG691 says these are actually good. The gray under brim wouldn't make any sense. Too plain and takes away from the name. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. I think like for my mind, CG, it was more so just from like what people are used to from a wearability perspective. I mean, we typically talking grays, greens, pinks, ices. We've at least from what I can see in the community, we've moved away from colored UVs, So I feel like in this same sense, I think like you said, from if it's the coral UV pack, then or the coral pack, then something about it has to be unique amongst all the hats.
I will say better as an undervisor than everything up top.
Yeah.
Oakland,
Yes.
Oakland A's up next. Battle of the Bay side patch.
I like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Boom.
I'm just trying to think like, so that patch that we talked about before, Ben, is there, I think it was the Ricky patch. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
So am I, because I've only seen the mock-up of it and it looks tits. TC logo Minnesota Twins. 50th anniversary for the side patch.
I like the choice of patch because of the color.
Yeah.
I do like that. This is probably really well executed. It looks like there's some metallic gold in that side patch as well, too.
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Sub Diego, favorite use of the Battle of the Bay patch? It's kind of interesting because I don't have a lot of hats with the Battle of the Bay patch outside of just the actual on-field hat. I'm always kind of picky about that. Not gonna lie. So I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite outside of the actual 89 World Series hat and just the green and gold.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. I saved the last two specifically for last because of the fact that, as you said, with the coral, the metallic gold, I feel like these two really hit with that colorway.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Austin was here. Austin's at Fallout Boy tonight. That's why he's not on the show tonight. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Such a cool guy.
But it is New York Mets, and more
missed it.
specifically the old school New York Mets, and specifically the 1964 All-Star Game side patch.
This is definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorites with that. I mean, you probably could have did what was it, the triple layered Mets
Yep.
logo with this too to add more coral in there, but I'm not mad at this Mets. Exactly like the tritone. Count. I feel like with this pack, less is more. Like if you do too much on the front logo, then it's like it takes away from the hat. So although normally I'm with you, the tritone would have been interesting here. I'm not mad at just the regular white with no outline.
Well, and then going back to what we were talking about, the Rangers looking very skeletal, it's just like it makes sense for that, seeing the rest of these of just being a straight white.
Mm-hmm.
But I saved the best for last, of course.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is
the one.
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm thinking back through all the other hats. I feel like this one's just really well balanced, and I like the fact that they went tonal on the outline for the Baltimore, and they didn't go coral because I feel like you could have went that route, but I like the fact that they didn't do that. That's very, very clean. That's my favorite one that you've shown.
Yeah. I absolutely love this side patch. I wish we used it more often, but the fact that this is the first time that we've actually used it, impressive.
Yeah, third in line. I feel like with this script, there's been a lot of good scripts. We had the black and the orange with the metallic copper outline. We had the purple pinky. We've had the gray and navy blue. That was the exclusive. We had the gray with the green, black with the royal blue. We've had a lot of good ones. And then also
Yeah.
even the we dubbed the Mattel, if you know, you know, Baltimore. That wasn't a bad one either.
I still need to buy that hat. God damn it.
Yeah.
But this is the whole clip right here. So these are dropping Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, hackclub.com, Hackclub app, and in every store location. These are the Coral UVs for you guys.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
I was looking for a Mets hat, I would buy one out of that pack.
All right, so we're gonna go back to Friday because so Friday and Sunday are gonna be our 2 variety pack days. I'm gonna bring us back into both equal boxes here. I felt Friday's variety pack hats were a little bit stronger than Sunday's. Now, I will say about Sunday, because I forgot to ask for it. The next colorway for a PBJ mask hat is going to be dropping on Sunday for you guys. It's a black and green, I believe, with a pink undervisor. So, two-tone black and green.
Yep.
I wish I brought that in. I apologize for not. But anyway, these were the 4 that are my favorites for that are dropping on Friday. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you guys the time they're dropping because obviously variety pack hats drop much earlier in the morning. Oh shit. I forgot. So Sunday actually I'm just gonna tell you guys Sunday because there's other hats in there besides the PBJ mask that are very important that we should talk about. One of them is going to be the return of the Texas Rangers 2011 World Series green eggs and ham. And because I will tell you guys the time, they're going to be dropping at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
So 10 a.m. for our East Coasters. Be ready.
But the most important hat that's going to be dropping that morning is the return of the Ox Pack 1 brown gold Chicago Cubs Wrigley Field blah blah blah. So Sunday, 7 a.m. If you missed out both times we dropped it, you get another chance at it.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. So those are Sunday, along with a bunch of other hats. Sunday.
Yep.
Now we're going to this pack. So Friday. Sorry, I got to go back to. I was trying to find the time. Where in God's name is it? All right, here we go. So same thing, 7 a.m. On the 22nd. So that's going to be Friday. I don't know. I don't know what country those are going to be made in because I didn't ask for it. I figured it's going to sell out over the weekend. I wouldn't be able to get it back to the warehouse in time. So that's why I didn't ask for it. I'm hoping it's China. Anyway, so these hats I'm about to show you, there's 5 of them. They are dropping Friday at 7 a.m. Variety pack hats. Anyway, so first one, San Diego Padres rail style. So all brown, swing and fryer, San Diego script on the front. Got the nice orange piping to go along with it. Cool gray undervisor. Would have preferred a green for this era, but that's just me.
I definitely would have preferred a green there as well.
Black on the sweatband, and this one is made in Laos. And it does have a flat stitch batting on the back that I should probably show off. So
yeah, I know a lot of people kind of always feel weird about rail hats, but a part of me kind of likes them.
I love rail hats.
Yeah,
love them. Next up, Muscle Bird two-tone, 30th anniversary, pink under visor. So this is a restock hat, but it sold out incredibly fast the first time we dropped it. So now it's back on Friday.
Good pinky, good colors, good primary colors. It's definitely it's giving me July 4th type of vibes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sub Diego. I I didn't know what it looked like, so that's why I asked them to send it to me. And the more I look at it, the more this is a badass fucking hat.
Mm-hmm. Very much
So
so.
this one is also made in Laos.
Feel like I said, Laos is making a. They've been doing good. They've been
It's
coming up with
happening.
some good hats.
Next one. This is a new one. So this is a navy blue burgundy two-tone Chicago White Sox. This is flat stitch, but it's white with the metallic gold outline. 2005 World Series patch. So of course this is the media guide version. These are all dropping Friday, 7 a.m. Hackclub.com, Hackclub app. These are all just variety pack hats. These are the best, in my opinion, variety packs that are dropping on Friday. Very sexy flat stitch baddie on the back. A lot of metallics going on there. And cool gray, black on the sweatband. And this one is going to be made in Laos.
Good crown. Good crown.
I really dig this one.
I feel like that reminds me of like, didn't we release a color story that was like kind of those, that was like those same
Yeah,
colors?
it was maroon, whereas this one is a little bit darker on the yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, these are all this Friday, 7 a.m. West Coast time. All right.
Elk Dotted asked the question about a specific hat that Freddie has dropped on his page. It's the two-tone, what do you call it? Braves. That was an Olympic, similar to the one that was in Atlanta.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the month ain't over yet.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like there were some crowns that were shown by Chief. Shouts out to Hat Club LA. Keep checking that app, man. If towards the end of this month, just check the app every day when you wake up. If you wake up at 9,
I know how this episode is going to end, by the way. Up next, return of the Oxpack LA Dodgers 50th anniversary of Dodger Stadium. So for anybody who missed out on this one, the first 2 times it dropped, I being one of those poor bastards who missed out on it both times. So thankfully we all get another crack at it. Bada boom.
There's another LA I hope that they put back in the spin cycle, but we'll see if it happens. We'll see.
And then last but not least, I was very specific about getting this one. So yeah, like I said, all these variety pack hats I'm showing you Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Boom. Seattle Mariners 20th anniversary, Emerald Bay. I told you guys we were breaking these up. So here is version number 2, which means that version number 3 is going to definitely be dropping before the month is over. Thankfully, we've got another episode of recap next week to show off the last one.
Yep. That's
and this
crazy.
one is made in Laos. Why do you hate us, 190 YJ? What did I do?
They hate us because they ain't us.
Hey, the important thing is we're not making these announcements other than on recap. So this is privileged information you guys are getting right now.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's been this last weekend was y'all. I went through it. I don't know if y'all went through it. I definitely went through it. I had to make some tough decisions and some tough calls about what I was going to grab and what I was going to leave alone.
Yeah. Hey, almost said the wrong person. Big Show 215. Don't worry. The collection that I'm putting together, there's going to be at least one Phillies in that mix. And I'm doing it for you because I'm in agreement. We haven't done a lot of Phillies hats. We haven't done a lot of Kansas City Royals. We haven't done a lot of Colorado Rockies. So I'm trying to find a way to cram all those into my collection because I prefer using lesser used patches, lesser used front logos, teams, etc. Yeah, I'm doing it for you guys. Aragon, I don't have any of the photos for Sunday. I didn't ask for them because I felt like the Friday drop for variety pack was better. So I apologize for that.
Take it from me, chat. Ben made the right call. We love all of our hats. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the ones that he showed were definitely the ones that you guys want to see. And to Ben's point, we have one more recap left, which means there's more hats coming. And
yeah.
if there's not a hat that you've seen that you wanted to, have a show, just know that it's because it's on the horizon. It's coming.
Oh,
coming
and
very-
Cincinnati Reds. I forgot to mention. Yeah, Cincinnati Reds, another team that we haven't done a lot of this year, and so don't
Yes.
worry. Mr. Walk. Let me see if I can find out. Okay, I'm gonna put Tafuri
Mhm.
on the big screen. Give me 1 sec, and I'm just gonna let you, show the people something special while I find this answer.
Show something special. What in particular should I show? I mean,
Oh,
I've
did you not snag something while you were at NoHo in particular?
Oh no! So actually, what I'm wearing right now in the Mata is actually what I did snag at NoHo. This stone and a metallic silver Comiskey Park, but also something that came in when I got
Ayo.
back. Good old Wild Panda. Shouts out to Davey. Shouts out to Wilder. This hat is crazy. Yes, I'm one of those people that really enjoy making things glow in the dark if they glow in the dark. So this hat definitely unlocked my inner child. So had to, like I said, beautiful crown, really great work. Wilder, I'm sending you this one and your Wild Valley D-backs. I need you to sign both. Please and thank you. And also when you're in office, pass it to Davey so she could sign this one as well.
Nice. All right,
Obviously.
actually, let me interrupt real quick.
Go ahead.
So March 28th is the next Cincinnati Reds. I'm still looking for Phillies.
Yeah. Then speaking of NoHo,
Hey,
gotta talk about this one. Good Brooklyn, pink UV black guts, iridescent Ebitz Field, Ebitz, and then obviously you guys have been watching me the whole live. Y'all been seeing me rim switch. Shouts out to my guy Just John, the Lou, Lost Boys. Like I said, I've bought pretty much half the catalog now, so I have to chill out until a point to be determined. Yeah. Did you find it yet, Ben?
I did. Early April is going to be the next Phillies hat, and it's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. We're probably gonna have like the end of this month, man, is gonna be just like this past weekend. I feel like for variety packs, I think it's gonna be a lot going on. I'm excited, but also worried about my bank account for the end of
Yeah,
this
me
month.
too. Dro_R19S. That is an oddly specific question.
When is there something that we're gonna be announcing here, Ben?
Very soon.
See, the whisper seals it.
Yeah, that's all,
It's just
all I can say. I would say, yeah, real soon.
yeah.
Let's just say this. I think I mentioned this like a month or two ago that I would be in Houston in April. So
Laurent, that's very good powers of deduction and process of elimination. Because we've released the compass. We
Yep.
have now released the S compass, and the only logo left is
the one that everybody wants.
the one. But I'm not mad at the compass though. I feel like the compass logo doesn't get a whole bunch of love. I wasn't mad at that first one.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, birthday's in April. Happy early birthday, Vengeful Spectre.
Hey, happy birthday, brother. Early.
Yeah, early. And then also B007D B007 Dwight. Yes, this last weekend was the quintessential definition of a wallet shaker. Had a lot going on this past weekend. So this weekend we're not letting up either.
Oh, Space Hippie, it's the brown one. Brown Cubs on Sunday. I don't have a photo of it right now, so otherwise I would, but it's the brown one. The OG.
Mm-hmm. And that collection with Two Piece Nat and Water worked on the 2001 pack. That's the Phoenix exclusive. That's dropping this weekend, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm just remembering stuff that I'm like, man, that's dropping too. Like, man, Arizona, y'all getting spoiled. I don't hear no other people from Arizona complaining that y'all don't get anything because y'all have gotten like back to back weekends of just heat. So,
oh shit! Which reminds me, If you live in Arizona, I highly recommend going to your local store on Saturday when they open.
Goodness.
That's all I'm gonna say. If you live in Arizona, go to Arizona Mills, go to Chandler, go to Arrowhead as soon as they open on Saturday.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's all you're getting. Fucking
Listen,
go.
yeah, just be outside. Ask no questions.
Fucking go.
So, but yeah,
I
man, like, go
yeah,
ahead,
I forgot to grab photos, but just follow yeah, you know it's dropping.
man. Yeah, man. But I mean, yeah, like this has been a great month. I mean, I feel like this has been like a really like every week is like built on top of each other. Even this week, I feel like VHS pack, Southwest pack, um, even the Coral pack has some, some pickers in there. But I definitely would still say that the VHS pack and the Southwest will probably
Yeah.
do really well. But the varieties, I think, coming this weekend and also coming next weekend, those are going to be some good ones too, guys. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And then once again, if you're in Arizona, go to the fucking store this Saturday when they open.
Yeah. I wish I knew people in Arizona just be like, hey, just go out
Tomorrow
there.
one. Yes. Just fucking go.
Exactly.
All right. I mean, just pay attention to the Hat Club Phoenix Instagram account. They'll give you all the details and stuff.
Yep. Morrison, I'm in line. Well, we actually got through this episode pretty well, Ben. So I
I
mean,
agree.
if you want to give us your thoughts on the Otani situation in a condensed form, I feel like chat would like to hear it. There's been jokes been made. So
I mean, here's what I say about this. So you know that MGM Sports commercial that that makes fun of Tom Brady because he's the only person that's allowed to use the app.
mhm.
It's fucking weird that Wayne Gretzky is in that commercial because I don't know if you guys remember this. The reason why Wayne Gretzky doesn't work for an NHL team anymore is because his wife got popped in a major gambling scandal back in like the early 2000s. I think this is
Mhm.
when he was actually coaching the Phoenix Coyotes, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so to have him in the mix in this commercial is mind blowing.
Mhm.
But here we are, an actual active player. Now it becomes a question of if his interpreter is just a fall guy or not, covering his tracks because there is the possibility that maybe Otani is the one that's also gambling as well. We don't know those details yet because it's being investigated. But from something I do know, and this is going to be a very controversial take right here. Sometimes when players are very favored by the league because of how much money they bring in, sometimes you get a pass. I think Michael Jordan is a prime case of that.
Mm.
Mike Trout is a very prime case of that because people in the know definitely know what Mike Trout is up to. And I'm not saying it's gambling, but it's something that is very frowned upon. So that's my thought on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just how the story broke, it's like I feel like when you get to that level, if you because I read the statement and he said that we go through this training in spring that tells us like that you're not allowed to gamble on baseball. So it's like so if you were that knowledgeable of that, how could you not have been knowledgeable of the fact that sports gambling in the state of California is illegal? Like how
Correct.
did you not know that, but you knew what the ML? So it's like sometimes when people tell a story, I think there's the old saying is listen to what people say, watch what they do, listen to what they don't say, and watch what they don't do. So I feel like this is a prime example of nonverbal communication being said where it's just like you could definitely distinguish you knew you weren't supposed to gamble in this instance, but you didn't know that you couldn't do it in that way
Correct.
because like later on in the statement he's just like, oh, this is a huge lesson, I'll never do it again. And it was just like, but you're kind of double talking because you knew in the beginning you couldn't do it with baseball, so why did you think in a state where I'm sure you're an interpreter, so I mean I'm sure that there's things that they talk to you about just in general from a legal perspective. It was interesting. There were a lot of discontinuities in that story. So
Yeah. In regard to Mike Trout, he was correct in his question. I'll say that. And the only reason I know this is because you got to remember, I got a lot of friends that have played and still currently play minor and major league baseball and are definitely in the know. And that's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just here's my thing, I've had this perspective about Barry. I've had this perspective about others that were in that era. Right? It's like we find a way to be selectively angry about things, but the things that we're selectively angry about to a certain extent are it's relative. So, I feel like what Barry meant to the sport by doing what he did, I mean, respectively speaking, it's like you could make an argument that he was already a great all-time hitter
Correct.
prior to it. So
Yeah.
it's like, to that end, it's like, do we look at that less favorably than a guy that was subpar, like sub 200 batting average, and then out of nowhere starts, cranking stuff out of, right and center field? It's like, I feel like there was a point where it did something positive for the sport. Granted, yes, it's cheating, but I feel like at the end of the day, I think that there's certain people that we have selective outrage towards, and there's other people that we kind of give a pass to your point, Ben. So I think it's just weird how sometimes public opinion works. There's guys that, you know, had that question attached to them, and people don't, you don't hear those conversations, but there are certain names that when it gets brought up, it's just like, wow, you know they're never getting in the Hall of Fame, and it's or like they're never going to be thought of in that way as a great baseball player, and it's just like,
Did you see Sammy Sosa got point blank asked about if he took steroids like this last weekend?
yep.
It's crazy. But to which case, for personally for me, I don't give a shit if anybody takes anything. The greatest stories of athleticism in baseball have come because some dude was hopped up on something. I mean, Doc Ellis threw a fucking no-hitter on LSD. That is hands down one of the greatest stories that I've ever heard in baseball. And not to mention, every player from that era was goosed out on amphetamines and, whatever they could get over the counter. So for anybody who took PED, steroids, whatever, it's just like, I don't care.
I
Like,
think it's just I think people just use the integrity of the game argument at times to it's the same thing with like Hall of Fame for football.
yeah,
There's certain athletes that should be in there by numbers, but took longer, or people, who are now in control of it, trying to kind of try to gatekeep. I think like Chat was saying, even with respect to just how we perceive certain athletes. So it's a weird game that we play. But to that end, it's like during that steroid era of baseball, like baseball was highly watched and highly anticipated. I mean, you were watching to see when these guys were going to break certain records. So I mean, and anything, was it fair for the sport? Because obviously it's performance enhancing. No, but it definitely did make the sport a lot of money.
yeah,
So, and it's like, and I think that that's when we understand sports are a business. I think that changes the whole narrative of morals aligning with financial gain,
yep,
versus morals being these things that just are not fuddled. And I think like in this situation with Otani, hopefully the results come out, and if the interpreter just really had a bad case of oops, I just didn't know, then I mean you're now much more wiser. But if not, it's just there's things that you can kind of look at and you could just say like, yeah, man, you probably knew better. You just were, you were
you just
guilty of the
got
rodeo
caught.
a little
That
bit.
was
Yeah,
it.
you just got caught.
Space hippie, dead on, man. If they're like, isn't there talks of there going to be like an arrow all steroid, all take whatever you want Olympics or something like that?
They were talking about it, but to that end, it's like I think that goes to the Barry, discussion, right? It's like this was a guy that was already a prolific all-time great hitter.
Yeah,
It's like PEDs is not like it doesn't make you better at technique. And I feel
correct.
like a lot of people that don't understand baseball think it's just Aaron Judge, Canseco, all these guys are just literally just whiffing at the ball. It's like it's technique. It's like they said, hand-eye coordination. It's knowing pitch counts, knowing how balls are breaking.
Yep.
Well, like just understand, and even understanding ball placement once it leaves the bat. So knowing where on the bat you need to hit it so that it has the exit velocity you need to get out the park. It's like some of that is cerebral. It's not just brute strength. So
Yeah.
if you were a great hitter before, you just got a little bit more juice to get it out the park. So if you're mad at that, it's like, I mean, okay, I guess, but there's
I
still
mean,
like,
for me, I find it funny that like baseball is always the one sport that gets, dumped on the most because, oh, steroids, whatever. And it's just like, and for those people, it's like, y'all really think that like football players, basketball players, hockey players, whatever, aren't taking stuff as well? Like, that's just naive if you don't think they are. I mean, there's dudes who have been popped for that, but it's just like, those aren't things that like the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL like really keep an eye out for, just because the fact that it's like, it it it's not in their financial best interest to care about that stuff.
yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, it's just, and I think even Sub Diego talked about it, there, which I think it's perception. It's if you're saying that your league is very squeaky clean, we don't accept cheating and anything else like that, and then stuff like this unravels. It's a scandal based off of that perspective and what you're pushing out there as far as marketing. So,
Mhm.
I mean, but whereas if you don't make that claim and if something happens and you get found out, it's like, wow, you
Oh,
know,
what? No.
yeah, it's like, yeah. And I think that that's why, like, you see a lot of guys in baseball, there's just that it's a stigma. It's literally like like leprosy. It's like they don't want to even be associated with it. I feel like when I watched like A-Rod when he was talking about it, he did everything but admit it. He did
Correct.
everything but admit it. It's like it's like a really weird gilding the lily like situation. It's like I'm gonna say that I did something, but it's not the thing that you want me to say, and confirms everything else. But it's weird. Yeah, but and I agree with Cap Crusader. I think that there's some people that are just genetic marvels. I think I personally do believe that LeBron is probably one of, I don't think we'll ever see another LeBron in our lifetime. I don't. I think a lot of people say Wemby is, tall and lanky, but it's just like a guy that's that big, that fast, that strong, growing into his game. And
Yep.
it's just I don't think that we'll ever see that again. Because what do we say? Zion was gonna be the next LeBron.
Dude,
It's
but
like
Zion looks pretty
I mean,
goddamn fit this year.
I mean, because he's actually probably dieting well and exercising,
Yeah.
as he should. It's like, but that was things that people were telling, him. I was like, I think the thing with LeBron is when he came in, he was already just in that mode. It's like, so a
Yep.
guy that's coming into the league already, investing into your body, making sure you're good. I don't think we see that again. I feel like Kobe was from that ilk. It's funny people say MJ was from that ilk, and I'm like, dude, he's like in The Last Dance. You see him literally chugging beers and stuff like that post game, smoking cigars, doing everything else. So it's like I think that it sets a standard for newer athletes. I don't really think that we'll see a 21-year player that's still averaging 25, 5-5 in their 21st, 22nd year, because I feel
Probably
like
not.
LeBron is going to play again next season.
No. I mean, you gotta be built like a horse to be able to pull that off. And so, but no, Zion looks way better, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the
Yeah.
Pelicans. It's a fun team that I'd like to see be successful.
Heard you third in line. And peace. I hope so. I hope Wemby grows into his frame. I think.
Yeah, if Wemby can fill his frame out the way that Giannis did, holy shit, that's frightening.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. Pause. Yeah, my bad. UC True Game. Pause on what I just said about Wemby filling out weight wise. I hope that he does, because I think that when Giannis put on the weight, put on the muscle, I think he definitely was just a much more formidable big man and player. So I just hope that Wemby's game is very built on finesse. He can do power stuff, but that's not really what he does. So I hope that him putting on weight doesn't take away from his game, at least from what
So,
I've seen him play.
Philly 42086. Which Giant script specifically? Because
Oh.
as far as any script that's at Great Mall right now, yes, they will be dropping on the website if they haven't already dropped on the website. Because actually, one Giant script did drop today
Mm-hmm.
on the website.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like Giannis was able to develop a 3-pointer after he grew into his body completely. So it's just like Wemby can shoot it now. So, but I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's so actually a reversal aspect of that. CC Sabathia during his time with the Yankees and then he started dropping a bunch of weight because he stopped eating cereal. Like, he was eating Captain Crunch like nobody's business, so he dropped a lot of sugar from his diet. The
Yeah.
man lost actually like 3 miles per hour velocity on his fastball because he got smaller.
Yeah.
Um, it's not a criticism of him. Like, I shout out to him for getting healthier, but at the same time, it's like when your body has been, you know, built bigger, etc., and once you start cutting down a lot of like where your mass times velocity comes from, it's just like, yeah, you're going to be losing a bit of zip on your fastball.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that that's just with basketball. It's like you normally don't see guys that are walking around like hulking, super bulky type of guys. It's more functional strength. So it's like quickness, explosiveness. And I think that for Wemby, at least as his game starts to develop, I think like I don't see him having to put on more than probably about 10 more pounds, maybe if that. I don't
Agreed.
think that he really needs to be Giannis size, because I think Giannis size and build, because I think as far as how his game is predicated and how tall he is, it's like he can play back to the basket, he can play perimeter, so it's like most guys that can do that, it benefits them to be slender. It's kind of like Dirk's build. Dirk wasn't like bulky. He was just, I guess you could say, just slender for his slender build for his height,
Yeah.
So I think that if he adopts that type of style, I think Wemby will be there for a while.
It was his wife always sent him to the games with a plate, man.
Yeah, like the foil cover plates for Dirk, we're definitely getting them right. I can't even lie to you. I mean, but I think to that end, it's just I think basketball, a lot of these sports where it's functional strength, even baseball, it's like you have to really understand, what you're doing and why you're putting on the weight. I feel like, for Aaron Judge, there's a reason why he's that build and that size, as
Yes.
for him, versus maybe, like an Acuna, who is not as big, per se, because he's a lot quicker, a lot faster, more agile. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do.
UC True Game 15. I 100% agree with you. Baseball shape is definitely the worst of all sports. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think you have guys in baseball that are going to be running four somethings in the 40. That's just there's not a real reason for that speed unless you're like a Kenny Lofton
I was
or
gonna say Kenny Lofton, Otis Nixon,
yep,
Juan Pierre. That dude could
yep.
fly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like unless you're doing things like that, and even then, those guys were, if they were like shortstops or outfielders, center fielders. I mean, Griffey wasn't necessarily the quickest guy, but I mean, he had good quickness, running bases. So
Yeah.
it just really depends. It just really depends. I mean, I think that's
De La Cruz can fly 100%.
yeah, definitely could.
Young Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock. Um, what's his nuts? They used to play for the Bakersfield Blaze. Fuck.
You got that one. I'm let's see here. There's a reason.
Yeah, he broke the Cal League record, and he's been playing the majors off and on. Vince Coleman is a good one. Jose Reyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Billy. Fuck. It's not Billy Wagner.
mm-mm.
Somebody help.
Help Ben.
Billy Hamilton. There you go. Just J125. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I feel like, I think definitely, and I think someone in chat said Deion Sanders. Yes, UC True Game said Deion Sanders might have been that fast. Yeah, I mean, you had him, you had Bo, Jackson as well. I mean, there's guys, like I said, that are quick, powerful. I think it just really depends. I think someone who asked that question that said, hi TTV said, who's more athletic, hockey or baseball players? Or I would say goalies are probably tantamount to catchers,
Uh,
but
I'm gonna give hockey goalies an edge on baseball catchers
okay.
because those dudes are learning like fucking ballet and Pilates and all sorts of other shit to
hmm
stretch and tweak their bodies in ways that no human being should.
Yes, hi TV. Granderson was also very fast. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I would say but I would say it's position specific. I think the most athletic position on the field truly is the shortstop. because it's like you have to. It's not just the agility position; it's also an agility with thought process position, because you
Yep.
have to know how to either cover the bag if you need to make a double. Sometimes you have to know how to position yourself to set up other types of outs and plays. I think that in the same way that hockey is cerebral in a different way, I think baseball is kind of more of, I think, a thinking man's game from the perspective of positioning and knowing how to do stuff, because I think so.
I always make that joke and say baseball's a thinking man's game, but it always sounds like I'm a pompous asshole every time I say it, even though I'm always saying it as a joke. But it is true. 90% of baseball is mental.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You have to know how to, like, I mean, even think of concepts like tagging up. Like, you have to know, you have to watch where the ball went. You have to know where the ball was put in play in field. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to keep track of, aside from just the rules of, just how to play the game.
yep.
So, but I think all skilled sports are like that. I mean, I'm sure with hockey, there's specific things you have to know as a hockey player to be able to take advantage of it. But I think when you look at players that really study games from a basketball perspective. I mean, I know we make jokes about, oh, LeBron forgets nothing, but it's like, if you listen to the new podcast where him and JJ Redick are really sitting down, I think for the average person to hear an athlete actually be able to articulate thought processes and X's and O's and being able
Yep.
to understand why position makes defenses and offenses do certain types of things, it's like, that's a perspective we didn't have before. I think we mostly had pundits and talking heads before that were kind of trying to put themselves in the mind of professional players. But it's like, imagine if we would have had MJ, like before a Last Dance type of documentary, telling us like play by play, like, hey, this is why I did that, or this is why this coverage caused us to do this,
Yeah.
and things like that. I feel like that's when you have a player that can actually really break it down in a way that's digestible. I feel like there's nothing better than that.
And it's interesting because I'm kind of curious to see like if LeBron is going to want to go into some kind of coaching aspect, like once his playing career is over, because it goes down the line of if you're a great player, you're probably going to be a terrible coach, but at least LeBron will break stuff down in a way where it's like it's easy, as you said, it's easy to digest, it's easy to understand. Whereas like
Yeah.
somebody like Michael Jordan will get on a court with like a lot of these kids and he's just like, why the fuck can't you do what I do?
Yeah, I feel like
It's like you can't coach that.
no, I feel like I think like for me, I would like to see him be an assistant coach first, because I think a lot of people put pressure like on, like they'll say JJ Redick, oh yeah, JJ Redick needs to be a head coach. It's like being cerebral and thinking from a perspective of, I'm a player, I played this position, I
Yeah.
know how the X's and O's should be. But it's like coaching is a completely different animal, because it's like, it's not just about, hey, we're gonna run this set play and it's gonna hit every time. It's like you got to make adjustments. Like, what do people say about the Lakers right now? It's like knowing the strengths on your team to know when to sub certain people in, when to run certain lineups, when to
Yep.
take certain people out. Like, all of that's a part of the game. And it's like, that's why I feel like for him, he would be a good assistant coach, I think, to start being that for like 2 to 3 years. If he really wanted to be a head coach, I say 2 to 3 years of being an assistant and then jumping into that. But I see him, I think, more being like a GM
I
on the
agree
field.
with yeah.
I feel like that to me is, I mean, he picked how many different all-star teams games where he was like the captain, and how many did he lose? So it's like he clearly has an eye for talent.
Sure.
He clearly has an eye for understanding what a team needs. I'd see him jumping into that over coaching, because it's like, it's weird when you play the game versus having to coach it. It's like, I think that's where MJ gets frustrated. It's like, because I did this. It's like, but you're a coach. You're a non-eligible player. You can't get in the game and do it for them. It's like you have to get them to think the game and play to their strengths. And for some people, they love doing that. But I
True.
feel like for great players, that's a struggle.
It's Luis. I gotta disagree with you because Rondo was a John Calipari coach guy, and no way in hell. No way in hell.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's why I say I think there's guys that know ball. Like, I mean, like I feel like CP3, JJ Redick, um, I mean, I've heard other guys. I mean, I've even heard like Paul George break down game film before. I mean, you've heard Iman Shumpert break down game before. It's like, I feel like there's guys that know ball because, like you said, you're just around it 24/7.
Yeah.
But I think that knowing ball and then also knowing how to put players, that are not you or have your skill set in positions to succeed. Those are two different things.
Oh, I was gonna say it was more of a joke of me saying that. I
Yeah.
agree. Rondo is incredibly talented, is definitely very cerebral when it comes to the game, but it's just like I don't know how that would translate to him being a coach.
And more times than not, it doesn't. You would think that because you're a great basketball player, you are a great basketball player because you know the game, so you should be a great coach. And that's not all. The two things can be mutually exclusive. You could be a great player, but just not really a good coach.
Yeah.
It's like a genius that knows math. It's like they can do it really quick, but to explain to someone else how it goes to get to that point, that could be a frustrating exercise for them and themselves. And great mathematician, just shitty teacher.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you in a sense of what your question is because he says, "Does JJ really know the game like that?" He says, "I feel like he just articulates himself really well." I think to an extent, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, because at the end of the day, you got to remember that JJ Redick is a Duke guy.
Yeah.
Um, so the it, I feel like a lot of JJ Redick's brand is more built on the fact that he just says what a lot of people are thinking, and which I
Yeah.
commend him on. But I'm gonna go
Yeah.
either way on that.
Yeah, I think two things can be true at once. I think he loves the game, and I,
Yeah.
I think he really likes talking about the game. And I think because when you do something at the highest level that only single digit percentage people can do, it's like you're already qualified to speak the game. So whereas I think a LeBron who, like, there's stories where he's like, dude is on the court and telling the opposing team, "Hey, you're supposed to be over here," not in a helpful you type of way, but I see exactly what you're doing
Yep.
type of way. It's like that to me is that there's different levels to basketball intelligence or any sport intelligence for that matter. So it's like I think that it's like there's a one thing to say, I know how we run this one play versus, it's like in football, I think like a safety or like, a DB, it's like you have to understand route trees, you got to understand rules, you have to understand where you can kind of, embellish a little bit, where you got to kind
Yeah.
of fall back. It's like all that stuff takes intelligence. I mean, that's why Dion was great at what he did. Dion wasn't the biggest DB that ever existed, but he just knew how to think the game very cerebrally. He knew
Yep.
how to cut certain things off in the field. He knew how to drive you towards defense and towards coverage, but he also could cover you one on one. So it's like that's where I feel like again it's Dion is also a rare case of great football player, good motivator, ultimately pretty good coach. I mean, it remains to be seen, this second season how Colorado does, but
I
I
honestly
think
think he's
that's
gonna do better next year. I mean, one, because now Colorado's going back to the Big 12.
hmm
But then two, I feel like the pressure and attention that was on him. I mean, the man can handle it,
yes.
but it's just like at some point, get some better assistance in there.
Yeah, definitely better assistance. I mean, I hate when I hear coaches complain about the transport portals. Like, stop complaining about it. It's
Yeah.
here, not going anywhere. You know, this I
Well,
feel like it puts down pressure on schools. Put up wins, get to bowl games, win some national championships. That's gonna garner you. I mean, to me, that's the way it should have always been. I mean, even before the transfer portal, that's why kids were going to Alabama and Georgia and SEC schools. It's because they were winning. They were
yep.
on TV and their prospects were drafted high in the draft. So it's like kids now are just saying and an extra, I guess you could say, variable to that equation now is money. It's the only thing that's new. It's nothing that's nothing different.
Well, it's also incredibly hypocritical that any coach would, go out there and say something critical of kids who are hitting the transfer portal when how many quote unquote elite coaches have, as soon as another school offers more money, the school's willing to buy out the rest of the said player's contract
Yep.
and they're dipping out. And
Yep.
so
Greeny talked about
I
that.
hate
I
that
think
shit.
yeah, it's like it's the kettle calling the pot black. It's
Yeah.
what it's always been. It's cool when we do it. It's a problem when you do it, because we're making promises to boosters and everyone else that we're gonna be competitive. And it's like you have a bad season. Now all your 5 stars are maybe looking to go somewhere else. And it's
Yeah.
like, but I feel like it puts pressure on if you can coach. If you're truly a leader of young men, you should be able to capture and not lose the locker room.
True.
But It's just like with the pros. It's like if you got a guy that's a 5-star and he's on all the marketing material, it's like, and I'm signed there too. It's like I got to get my reps in too. So I'm not gonna sit in red shirt for 2 years and then hope that I can get in on this team. And y'all have won a national championship, so I'm definitely not getting any playing time now. It's like, kids should have their own choice of where they decide in their destiny. If coaches can do it, like you said, players should be able to do it.
I actually, with that, I got to give. I mean, this is like bias on my part because it's Oregon
Yeah.
related, but Dante Moore, who was the starting quarterback for UCLA last year, he was originally committed to Oregon, but he wanted to start immediately, and he got roughed up. Things did not go well for him. Now he's transferring back to Oregon, and has flat out said, "I want to sit on the bench. I want to learn the offense because Dylan Gabriel's coming in from Oklahoma," and it's like, damn, that kid is fucking sharp as hell. I respect that. And I mean, having that option to do that, I think is incredible.
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah. I mean, it's like the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson situation. It's like if you have a chance to learn under, I mean, say what you want about Russell, he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So it's like
Correct.
for Justin, this is good reps. I'm sure that with Mike Tomlin, there's probably some schemes and some things that could be run that could be advantageous to Justin and his
Mike
athleticism.
Tomlin, who has never had a losing season in his NFL career.
Yeah, so it's like, so
That means
that's
a
where
lot.
yeah, I mean, so that's kind of where I look at that as, that's just good GM being in touch with the head coach. And I agree, Best of AZ. It's really going to be interesting to see Alabama next year. I'm very curious to see how that looks. Because I think now you're going to start to see an Alabama that arguably is a little bit more well balanced in their recruiting. I think Alabama was traditionally very defense heavy. I mean, you have running backs. I felt like they had good quarterbacks. I mean, obviously Tua, you go
Yep.
all the way, back prior to, Tua, they've had great quarterbacks prior to him. I mean, Mac Jones. I mean, who now is getting moved around the league, maybe isn't the best first name that comes to mind, but they've had other
yeah.
they've had other good quarterbacks, but I feel like now I feel like they'll come into more of the present century with more of a pro style offense. They'll probably do a lot more passing. I
Yeah.
think that was just something where it's like when you used to see Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, these teams play their low scoring games, it's really the battle of defenses. Who's going to stop who, for the longer part of the games. But I think it'll be interesting to see them get, some new lifeblood in there from the play calling, role and position to see how that looks. But I wouldn't compare Alabama this year to Saban's legacy because it's just going to be too difficult. I think for even Alabama fans, it's going to be difficult to watch that and see.
Oh yeah.
See what that's like.
And my prediction for this is, because I mean, I know Alabama and Alabama fans wanted Dan Lanning from Oregon, but Dan made the smart decision to stay. And here's why, or here's my prediction at least. Oregon, within the next 3 years, Oregon will win a national championship in football.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
During that time, Kyle DeBoer, who's the new head coach of Alabama, I feel like he's going to average 3 or 4 losses a season during those 3 years. And because Bama fans are so used to success under Saban, they're going to ostracize DeBoer. And he's either going to, get fired, he's going to quit, find somewhere else to go. And at that point, it's going to, like, Lanning with the championship under his belt is going to come back home to Bama, and everybody's happier. I think Lanning made the smart move by you don't want to be the guy who succeeds the most successful coach in the program's history.
Yeah.
Because the second you fuck up and you don't have a national championship in your first year, everybody wants you gone.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's just, I feel like Bama fans are like, Lakers or even Boston fans for that matter. It's either championship or bust for them. It's
Correct.
Or even Yankees fans to that end. It's like there are no puritanical victory seasons. It's either you either won it all or it's a wash. It's a waste. So
yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, you're bringing a West Coast offense into a school that traditionally was not that. So I'm interested to see what dimension that gives Alabama. Because again, people act like because Nick Saban left, all his defensive players left. It's like, no, Alabama's still a top 5 defense.
Correct.
And it's like, and now you're giving them the coach who led Washington to have top FBS offense. So it's like I think that it has potential on paper. We just have to see how it translates into records and wins and losses on the field.
Totally.
So yeah, man. But we we
I was
broke
gonna
it.
say, I feel like we should have probably wrapped it up like 15, 20 minutes ago, but I
Right.
enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, I definitely did too. I think Chad was talking about it. I mean, the Otani situation is recent news. It just happened today. So, where the conversation when it went.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But I
man.
want to give out a shout out again to Ryan Allison and Ty Lodgepole for joining us.
1000%.
Homeland. I mean, they killed it, and
Yep.
really glad you guys stayed tuned in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well.
Mhm.
Tef, enjoy your weekend. I'm gonna try and do the
Thanks, man.
same, and we will see you guys next week.
See y'all next week. Love you too, Cap Crusader.
Oh, actually, if you guys are in the Los Angeles area on Tuesday, I'm actually going to be at the Melrose store on Tuesday. So pop in.
Go say hi to Ben, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.